Yeah.
Did you ever think the president of the United States would be celebrating your unemployment?
I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean, Mr. Yes, yeah, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. There's somebody who took pleasure in that. That, to me, is the absolute opposite of what a leader of this country is supposed to do.
In a moment that stunned both the audience and the host, Kimmel expressed disbelief that the president of the United States would ever celebrate the loss of American jobs. His tone carried both outrage and sorrow, capturing the moral absurdity of a leader rejoicing in others' misfortune. He described it as an inversion of leadership itself, the complete opposite of what a president should stand for. This opening clip sets the emotional tone, where humor merges with disbelief, and satire becomes a vehicle for moral criticism. Kimmel's pause, followed by a resigned, "I never imagined we'd have a president like this," encapsulates the despair many Americans felt at the erosion of empathy from the highest office in the nation.
Well, I have some bad news. Our government is now officially shut down because we don't have funding to pay the federal workers. Trump really is running the country like it's one of his businesses. He said he would.
Traditionally, the senior leadership of the U.S. military never claps for political speeches. That's the tradition. They're supposed to be nonpartisan and sit there stone-faced. It's like doing stand-up for Easter Island heads. So Trump didn't love the crowd.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room.
Roger that.
In this sequence, Trump addresses a quiet military audience, seemingly frustrated by their composure. Breaking tradition, he encourages them to just have a good time, telling them they can applaud or even leave if they wish. What was meant as humor exposed a deeper insecurity, a president accustomed to constant affirmation, uncomfortable with solemn silence. The tension between decorum and ego is palpable. Trump's improvisation, presented as casual charm, instead reveals a craving for approval, while the soldier's discipline stands in stark contrast to his theatrical delivery. The irony, of course, is that the silence he feared said more than applause ever could.
Well, I tell you, folks, I definitely did not call this one, but evidently The Late Show has outlasted the United States federal government. Because we're still open and they done shut down. But you know what? Maybe this is a good thing. You know, the government hasn't been working that great lately.
Just to give you some perspective, the government being shut down is even worse than when it's up and running. Republicans would like you to believe that Democrats shut the government down, but the bill they wanted the Democrats to sign would knock out about 15 million Americans from health insurance. If this bill passes, your health insurance premiums could go up 75%, so there was no way the Democrats could vote for it. It's like going to dinner and the waiter says, "You must ordered lasagna. The chef made it today. And a bunch of you are going to get food poisoning from it. But if you don't eat it, you've ruined the meal." That's
Colbert begins this segment with sharp wit, announcing that his show has outlasted the U.S. federal government. The humor lands perfectly because the truth is both absurd and painful. The shutdown, caused by political gridlock, becomes the centerpiece of his comedic dissection. He mocks partisan blame shifting, turning complex policy debates into relatable metaphors, like the lasagna analogy, illustrating how Americans were being forced to eat bad legislation or be blamed for the meal's failure. Through humor, Colbert translates frustration into laughter, turning civic dysfunction into a national joke that hits uncomfortably close to home.
Will be felt right here in New York. To punish you for disliking him, Trump is putting $18 billion worth of New York City infrastructure projects, like the new rail tunnels under the Hudson and the Second Avenue subway project, on hold to make sure the money isn't being used to support DEI. Apparently, they think trans stands for transportation over there, and they want to stop it. This is clearly an abuse of power to punish the city.
In this monologue, Colbert highlights Trump's verbal stumbles, comparing his self-proclaimed genius with his apparent war against the English language. Every boast becomes a setup for a punchline. He contrasts Trump's claims of strength and stamina with his visible exhaustion, turning the president's contradictions into comic poetry. The beauty of Colbert's approach lies in restraint. He doesn't scream. He observes. The laughter that follows isn't just amusement. It's recognition. It's a collective acknowledgement that absurdity has replaced authenticity in the nation's political theater.
And they want to stop it. This is clearly an abuse of power to punish the city. And New York City infrastructure projects are not supposed to be delayed because Trump wants to strong-arm Democrats into cutting health care. They're supposed to be delayed because they're New York City infrastructure projects. I don't know, maybe they want to... There is a theory that says they want to stop construction on the tunnels so they can bury the Epstein files in them. Meanwhile,
Kimmel calls out Trump's decision to withhold billions in funding from New York infrastructure projects, framing it as petty political revenge. The absurdity peaks when he jokes about Trump confusing trans with transportation, mocking how ignorance and vindictiveness blend in policy decisions. Beneath the humor, there's genuine anger at power being weaponized against citizens. The audience laughs, but the subtext is grave. A president using governance as punishment, reducing national welfare to personal grudges. It's political satire grounded in civic heartbreak.
Everything gets defunded and shut down. For instance, Trump's military deployments to major cities will continue, as will his immigration crackdowns and deportations. Come on, why are we keeping only the unpopular parts of government? But Trump doesn't care about the top brass. He cares about the gold leaf, and he has really done a number on the Oval Office. Here's what the Oval looked like under Joe Biden. Here it is under Trump. Oh, Lottie Von Gaudy. Who is his decorator? I'm going to say Scrooge McDuck smoking bath salts.
Colbert escalates the absurdity with a conspiratorial twist, joking that perhaps the tunnels were being stopped to bury the Epstein files. The humor here is intentionally exaggerated, a parody of the paranoia and corruption that often swirl around Trump's administration. The joke lands not because it's believable, but because it feels plausible within the chaotic logic of his presidency. Colbert transforms dark suspicion into biting comedy, illustrating how satire becomes the last refuge for truth when reality itself borders on caricature.
well, with all the partisan bickering going on, there was a call for unity from, of all people, Senator Sweaty Teddy Cruz.
We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
I was with you on the first two. That's right. Some of the president's best dead friends are pedophiles. And then Ted caught the next flight to Cancun.
The scene shifts to Ted Cruz's hollow call for bipartisanship. Colbert seizes the moment, dismantling the senator's performative appeal for unity with surgical precision. The punchline, some of the president's best dead friends are pedophiles, lands like a hammer, connecting hypocrisy to history. Humor becomes indictment. The laughter is sharp, uneasy, and purposeful, revealing how easily moral slogans collapse under the weight of political reality. The segment closes with Colbert's quip about Cruz's Cancun trip, a callback that transforms public scandal into comedic inevitability.
When you call in generals from every corner of the world, you don't just talk about stairs. You talk about office supplies.
When I have a general and I have to sign for a general because we have beautiful paper, the gorgeous paper.
What is, and why is the paper like this? I'm sorry, what is this? Can we see the big, beautiful, firm paper he's talking about? There you go.
Trump's peculiar praise for beautiful paper, while meeting generals is pure late-night gold. Colbert's reaction, what? Captures the collective bewilderment of the audience. By magnifying the absurdity, he exposes how Trump's priorities drift from leadership to aesthetics, from national security to stationery. The visual gag of showing the beautiful paper underscores how surreal political discourse has become. It's not just a joke about triviality. It's a commentary on a leader out of touch with seriousness, more focused on props than policy.
Disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
That video was posted by the President of the United States. A black man in a sombrero with mariachi. That's how out of it this guy is. He can't even keep his racism straight.
In this tense clip, a Democratic leader condemns the Republican assault on health care and the president's posting of a racially insensitive video. Colbert's commentary reframes it as a surreal blend of racism and incompetence, a man unable to keep even his prejudices consistent. The absurdity of a black man in a sombrero becomes emblematic of the confusion and contradiction defining the administration. Through laughter, the comedians expose the collapse of moral coherence, where even bigotry is performed without conviction or comprehension.
Over the weekend, Trump even posted a video of a bunch more gold bric-a-brac he's going to hot glue to the White House, writing, "Some of the highest quality 24-karat gold used in the Oval Office and Cabinet Room. Foreign leaders and everyone else freak out when they see the quality and beauty. Best Oval Office ever in terms of success and look." And there's nothing more presidential than making other world leaders freak out about your bling.
Trump's boast about foreign leaders freaking out over the 24-karat gold in the Oval Office becomes the centerpiece of this segment. The absurdity is layered, luxury mistaken for leadership, decoration for dignity. Colbert ridicules the excess with the imagined reaction of Scrooge McDuck smoking bath salts, painting a picture of vulgar grandeur masquerading as patriotism. The audience laughs, but the satire bites deep. The gold isn't just decor, it's symbolism, a presidency obsessed with appearance over substance, where shine replaces service.
Think about uniting nations. Well, no one does it better than Don.
It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. Let's see, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
Well, if that doesn't get him the Nobel Prize, I don't know what will. Melania she sat for the speech. She was there not just in her capacity as First Lady, but also as a representative for all the unsatisfied Slovenian women of the world. Rumpelstiltskin was all over the map today. He ranted about windmills. He bragged about ending 7 wars. He threatened the guy who operates the teleprompter. He complained about being screwed out of a deal to renovate the building they were in, the United Nations building. He said,
In the closing sequence, Trump's rambling UN address devolves into self-congratulation, veering from global crises to petty grievances. Kimmel and Colbert capture the chaos perfectly, mocking his brags about wars, windmills, and teleprompters. Then they pivot to his Twitter addiction, the rawest window into his psyche. Here, humor turns almost tragic. The image of a world leader live-tweeting his insecurities becomes the defining metaphor of a presidency consumed by ego. The comedian's laughter becomes history's echo, proof that the farce, once complete, can no longer hide the truth beneath it.